leverage this wonderful asset unless we are able to bring the power of education to these children. According to my friend late Tendulkar, the noted economist, it's not my statistics, it's his statistics. India has about 400 million people earning less than 32 rupees per day, which is less than 70 cents a day. If you assume that a family has 5 people, parents and 3 children, that family is supposed to earn 160 rupees per day. That's something like $3.20. And in this $3.20, they have to manage housing, food, healthcare, utilities, and if any money is remaining, then they can send their children to schools. And the reality is that most of these people are really not in a position to send their children to schools. The reality is most of these children remain hungry and they don't absorb what the teacher teaches. Now, many of us understand that this is not the way a country should be making progress. Our Prime Minister has been exhorting every one of us, time and again, that we need inclusive growth. We need growth where the remotest child in the remotest, the poorest child in the remotest part of India has a hope of creating a better future for himself and herself. We want an India where every one of us is absolutely certain that our future children will be able to lead a better quality of life than we did. This can only happen if we can bring the power of education to every child in the country. I don't know of any nation in the world that has succeeded and reached a level of prosperity that you and I want India to reach without decent access to education. And Akshayapatra is targeted at bringing the power of education to the poorest of the poor children. And that's where you and I have an onerous responsibility, have a very heavy responsibility on our shoulders to make sure that this happens. I don't know how many of you have been hungry in life. I have been. I have had the rare experience of being without food and water for about 125 hours. This was in the year 1974 when I quit my job in Paris after a stay of 4 years and said, look, my job is in India. I can add much more value to India than to France, and therefore, let me go back. I donated 95% of what I had to an organization called Frères de Tiers-Monde, that means Brothers of the Third World, and just kept $450 and hitchhiked my way all the way from Paris to my hometown, Mysore. I was on the road for 11 months, mostly sleeping on platforms in railway stations, sometimes having the luxury of staying in the YMCA. And when I reached a place called Niš, which is a border town between what was then Yugoslavia and now Serbia and Bulgaria, it was 9:30 p.m. on a Saturday evening. The driver, who was very kind to give me a lift, dropped me at the railway station. And I went into the railway station, and then I went to the restaurant there, and I wanted to eat something because I was very hungry. I had not eaten anything since since previous night. And when I went into that restaurant, they said I had to have the local money, the Yugoslavian dinar, else they wouldn't give me any food. I didn't have Yugoslavian money, and therefore I had to sleep hungry. I did that. Next morning at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning, I got up and went into the town. It was a communist country, and in communist countries, on Sundays, banks don't work. They don't work even on working days, on weekdays. So therefore, I realized that there was no hope of my getting the local money, and I came back. And the best way for a hungry man to conserve energy is to lie down and sleep. I mean, not sleep, at least lie down. And I lay down on the platform, and at 8 o'clock in the night I got onto the Istanbul Express because I had to go to Sofia, which is the capital of Bulgaria. The reason why I had to go to Sofia is because my project, the project that I worked on in Paris, was called Sofia, System Ordinator Traitement de Fret International Aérien, which means a system, an operating system to handle air cargo. And I was one of the 18 members who had written that operating system. And my colleagues wanted me to send a postcard from Sofia. When I got onto the train, I tried to speak with a boy who was there in the compartment. And I tried English, French, and Russian, 3 languages that I knew. And the boy knew none of those. Then there was another girl. There was a girl in the compartment, and she knew French, and we were speaking, and the boy got upset with us, and therefore he brought the police, and the gendarme took the girl away, and they ransacked my backpack and sleeping bag, and they dragged me on the platform and put me in a small room, 8 foot by 8 foot, which had just a cold floor, and it had a hole in a corner by way of toilet facilities. And they locked me up there, and in some way I was quite happy because I thought at least I would be the state guest and I would get some breakfast in the morning. But nothing happened. Next morning came, and it was very cold. Yugoslavia gets extremely cold. Nothing happened. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I thought I would get some lunch. Nothing happened. And when that night came, I realized that I was in serious trouble. And by then, I had not eaten already for 60 hours or so. And after about 76 hours in that incarceration, by which time I had lost all hope, and I was very angry. When you are hungry for no fault of yours, when you see injustice, and when you see that you're hungry because of such an injustice, you become very angry. You hate the people who put you in that position. You don't mind doing whatever is needed to punish those people. That's why there is this famous saying, hunger knows no law. And at the end of 76 hours, somebody came, opened the door, and they dragged me on the platform, they put me on the